There comes a point in life when you learn that not every battle deserves your energy. Not every insult deserves your voice. And not every disrespect deserves a reaction. The older you get, the more you understand that silence isn't weakness. It's wisdom. We live in a world where everyone feels the need to respond instantly. A world that praises quick comebacks and sharp words, where people measure their worth by how loudly they can defend themselves. But here's the truth. Strength is not proven in the noise you make. It's revealed in the control you keep. After disrespect, most people's first instinct is to speak, to defend, to prove. But here's the dangerous trap. When you argue with small-minded people, you step into their arena, and once you're there, you've already lost something far more valuable than pride, your peace. Silence in the face of disrespect is not the absence of a response. It's a statement in itself. It says, I know who I am, and your words cannot rewrite my worth. It says, you do not have the power to pull me into your storm. It says, I refuse to give you the attention you are desperate for. This kind of silence is not born out of fear. It's born out of self-respect. When you truly value yourself, you stop fighting for approval you never needed in the first place. You stop proving yourself to people who have already decided not to see you. And you stop allowing every careless action to become a hook that drags you into battles that drain your soul. Think about it. The most powerful people in history didn't react to every insult. They chose their battles carefully. They understood that energy is precious and that wasting it on pettiness is the fastest way to lose focus on your mission. The greatest victories are often won in silence, when you simply keep building, keep moving, and let your results make all the noise for you. Silence also exposes the other side. When you refuse to engage, you leave them with their own words echoing back at them. You force them to sit in the discomfort of their own disrespect without giving them the satisfaction of your emotional reaction. And often, that quiet response cuts deeper than any words you could have thrown back. This doesn't mean you tolerate abuse or allow disrespect to live in your life unchecked. No, it means you understand that your response doesn't have to be loud to be effective. Walking away can be louder than shouting. Protecting your energy can be stronger than winning an argument. Choosing peace can be the ultimate form of power. Because when you react emotionally, you hand them the steering wheel. You give them control over your mood, your day, and even your self-image. But when you respond with silence, you keep the power in your hands. You show that their behavior is beneath you, that your standards remain high, and that nothing they say can shake the foundation you've built within yourself. Silence after disrespect is not passive. It's active self-protection. It's choosing to rise above instead of sink below. It's choosing long-term respect over short-term satisfaction. And it's knowing that your energy is too precious to be spent on people who will never value it. In the moments when you are tempted to respond, remember this: every word you speak is an investment of your energy. Ask yourself, will this bring me peace, or will it only bring me deeper into the chaos? If it's the latter, then silence is not just an option. It's the smartest choice you can make. Today, we're going to explore why silence after disrespect is one of the most powerful tools you have. We'll talk about the mindset it requires, the control it develops, and the undeniable strength it shows. Because in the end, silence is not about avoiding conflict. It's about mastering yourself. Your value is not in the noise you make. Your power is not in how quickly you react. Your strength is in the calm you keep, the dignity you hold, and the peace you protect. That is the kind of silence that speaks louder than words ever could. Let me tell you something. You are being programmed every single day, whether you realize it or not. Your mind is like a garden, and every bit of content you consume is either planting seeds of growth or planting weeds that choke out your potential. That little device you carry in your pocket, the one you check first thing in the morning and last thing before you close your eyes at night, that is your feed. And your feed is shaping the way you think, the way you feel, and ultimately the way you live. Some of you are wondering why you can't seem to focus, why you feel unmotivated, why you start your day with energy, but end it drained. It's not just because life is hard. It's because your feed is filling your mind with mental junk food. If all you see are people complaining, people gossiping, people showing highlight reels with no real struggle, you start to believe that's reality. And here's the dangerous part. You start comparing your life to someone else's perfectly filtered snapshot. And you don't even realize you're feeding yourself self-doubt with every swipe. You have to understand your brain doesn't just see things, it absorbs them. It repeats them. It stores them in the background like a soundtrack that plays on repeat. If that soundtrack is negativity, if it's fear, if it's drama, then guess what? That's what will show up in your life. Because what you feed your mind becomes the foundation for your decisions, and your decisions determine your destiny. Now, I'm not here to tell you to throw away your phone or never scroll again. No. Technology is a tool, and like any tool, it can either build something or destroy something. The problem isn't the feed itself. The problem is how we let it feed us. You have to get intentional about what you're letting in. If you were feeding your body, you wouldn't eat spoiled food just because it was sitting in the fridge. You wouldn't drink from a glass of water if you knew it had poison in it. But every single day, some of you are feeding your mind poison, disguised as entertainment. You have to take control. You have to say, if this doesn't lift me up, if it doesn't push me forward, if it doesn't challenge me to be better, it doesn't get space in my feed. That's how serious you have to be about it. Because the battle for your mind is real, and you're the one holding the gate open or closed. I'll be honest, when I started being intentional about my own feed, it felt strange. I unfollowed people I'd known for years, not because I didn't care about them, but because their energy wasn't aligned with the future I was building. I replaced gossip pages with business mentors. I replaced mindless memes with leadership lessons. And I started to notice something. The more I fed my mind growth, the more I wanted to grow. The more I fed myself discipline, the more disciplined I became. You see, the feed isn't just content, it's conditioning. And the one thing about conditioning is this: the longer you're exposed to it, the stronger it becomes. So if you're going to be conditioned, why not be conditioned for greatness? Why not train your mind to expect success, to seek solutions, to see possibilities instead of problems? Some of you could turn your entire life around in 30 days if you just changed your feed. 30 days of feeding your mind with things that fuel you instead of drain you. 30 days of replacing noise with knowledge. 30 days of choosing what serves your vision instead of what distracts from it. Imagine how different your conversations would be, how different your energy would feel, how different your decisions would look. Your feed shapes your mind, and your mind shapes your life. If you want your life to change, start by changing what you're feeding it. Because your future is being written one scroll at a time. And the power to write the next chapter is already in your hands. The question is, what are you feeding it? You've got to understand something. Your environment is not neutral. It's either pulling you forward or it's holding you back. There is no in between. Every person you let close to you, every conversation you have, every room you step into, they're all shaping you in ways you might not even realize. And for a lot of people, the reason they can't seem to break free, the reason they keep hitting the same wall over and over, isn't because they don't have the ability. It's because their environment is designed to keep them exactly where they are. When you're surrounded by people who complain all the time, you start to complain without thinking about it. When you're surrounded by people who are always making excuses, suddenly excuses feel normal. And when you're surrounded by people who've stopped dreaming, stopped trying, stopped pushing themselves, that mindset starts to rub off on you like dust settling on a shelf. Slowly, without even noticing, you start to dim your own light so you don't outshine the room you're in. I've seen people with so much talent, so much potential, get stuck. Not because they didn't have the drive, but because they were plugged into the wrong atmosphere. They were feeding on conversations that drained them, spending time with people who didn't see what was possible, only what could go wrong. And you can't live on that kind of diet and expect to grow. You can't feed your spirit discouragement every day and then expect to wake up motivated. Sometimes you've got to take a hard look at where you spend your time and who you spend it with. And I'm not talking about being arrogant or cutting people off just to feel superior. I'm talking about protecting the space where your dreams are growing. Think about it. If you planted a seed in toxic soil, it wouldn't matter how much you wanted it to grow. It wouldn't matter how much sunlight it got. If the foundation was poisoned, the seed would never flourish. Your mind works the same way. Now, here's the truth that makes people uncomfortable. Sometimes the people who are closest to you are the ones holding you back, not always on purpose. They might love you, they might care for you, but if their vision is small, if their faith is limited, if their belief in themselves is weak, they will unintentionally project that onto you. And if you're not careful, you'll start living within their limits instead of stepping into your own potential. That's why you have to be intentional about building an environment that feeds you. Seek out people who challenge you to grow. Get in spaces where the conversations stretch your mind instead of shrink it. Spend time around those who believe in possibility, even when circumstances say otherwise. The right environment will make you uncomfortable in the best way. It will remind you of the gap between where you are and where you could be, and it will push you to close it. I can tell you from personal experience, the moment you upgrade your environment, you'll notice your energy shift. You'll find yourself thinking differently, talking differently, walking differently. Because when you're surrounded by ambition, you start to believe more is possible for you. When you're surrounded by solutions, your brain starts searching for answers instead of excuses. And this isn't just about people. It's also about what you allow into your space, what you read, what you listen to, what you watch. If you're serious about changing your life, you've got to treat your environment like the control room of your future. Every voice you let in is like a dial, either turning up your focus or turning it down, either amplifying your faith or draining it. So ask yourself, does my environment make me stronger, or does it make me settle? Does it remind me of my vision, or does it distract me from it? And if the answer is that it's holding you back, you've got a choice to make. Because the truth is, your environment is like the air you breathe. You might not see it, but it's either giving you life or it's slowly suffocating you. And if you want to breathe freely, you've got to put yourself where the air is clear. You can't keep pouring out and never take time to fill yourself back up. You can't keep showing up for everybody else, giving your best energy, your best focus, your best ideas, and then leave nothing for yourself. That's how people burn out. That's how dreams die. Not because you didn't have the talent, not because you didn't have the opportunity, but because you neglected the one thing you can't afford to lose, your own well-being. Too many people think self-care is selfish. They think it means ignoring responsibilities or avoiding hard work. No, self-care is not an escape from your life. It's the maintenance that allows you to keep going. It's like taking care of a car. You can have the most expensive, powerful engine in the world, but if you never change the oil, never check the tires, never refuel, it's not a matter of if it's going to stop. It's just a matter of when. And some of you are running on fumes, trying to drive uphill, wondering why it feels so hard. I've learned that when you take care of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you're not just doing it for you. You're doing it for everybody who depends on you. For every dream you're chasing, for every goal you've set. Because you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't inspire others if your own spirit is tired and worn out. And you can't keep your mind sharp and focused if you never give it rest. Think about the times when you've been overwhelmed, stressed, and exhausted. Did you make your best decisions then? Did you show up as your best self? Probably not. We make mistakes when we're tired. We lose sight of the bigger picture. We start reacting to life instead of creating it. That's why protecting your energy is not a luxury. It's a necessity. I want you to start thinking of self-care as a non-negotiable part of your grind. That means paying attention to what you eat, how you sleep, the way you talk to yourself, and the thoughts you entertain. That means taking breaks when you need them, setting boundaries so people don't drain you, and saying no without guilt when something isn't aligned with your goals. It's not about being lazy. It's about being strategic, because a rested mind can solve problems faster. A healthy body can work harder for longer. A peaceful spirit can handle challenges without falling apart. And don't just wait until you're burned out to take care of yourself. Too many people try to rest only after they've reached the point of collapse. But by then, it's like trying to repair an engine while it's already on fire. You've got to build those moments of recovery into your life before you think you need them. You've got to treat your well-being like the fuel that keeps you in the race. And let's be clear, self-care is more than bubble baths and vacations. Those things are great, but true self-care is discipline. It's doing the hard, boring things that protect your health and your peace. It's showing up for your workouts, even when you don't feel like it. It's turning off the phone and getting enough sleep instead of scrolling until 2 a.m. It's choosing the right food when the easy option is fast and unhealthy. That's not glamorous, but it's what makes the difference between those who burn out halfway through the journey and those who cross the finish line strong. So many people sabotage themselves because they treat self-care like an afterthought instead of a foundation. But when you make it a priority, you give yourself the ability to show up fully, to think clearly, to respond with patience, to keep going when others quit. If you want to keep climbing, if you want to keep building, if you want to keep winning, you've got to take care of the machine that makes it all possible. And that machine is you. Sometimes we think success is about speed, how fast we can move, how quickly we can get to the goal. We get caught up in the rush, telling ourselves, I can't stop now. I can't slow down. I've got to keep pushing. And there's truth to that, because the grind takes consistency. But here's what a lot of people don't realize. It's not just about how fast you go. It's about how long you can keep going. And if you want to last, you've got to know how to pace yourself. I've seen people start out on fire, full of energy, working day and night, telling everyone they're going to make it happen. And they do great for a few weeks, maybe even a few months. But then the fire burns out, not because they didn't have talent, not because they didn't have heart, but because they didn't understand endurance. They were sprinting in a marathon. Life's biggest victories rarely happen overnight. They take time. They take sustained effort. And when you're chasing something big, you have to be prepared to keep showing up long after the excitement has faded. That means learning how to work smart, not just hard. It means creating a rhythm that allows you to produce at a high level without destroying yourself in the process. Part of pacing yourself is knowing when to push and when to pull back. There will be seasons where you have to go all in, late nights, early mornings, extra work. And that's part of the grind. But there also have to be moments where you regroup, recharge, and come back stronger. Because you can't fight every day like it's the final round and expect to make it through all 12. The people who win over the long term are the ones who can adjust their pace without losing momentum. This isn't just about physical energy. It's mental too. You've got to learn how to protect your focus so you're not burning brain power on things that don't matter. You've got to learn how to recover from setbacks quickly so they don't drain your drive. You've got to stop comparing your journey to someone else's timeline, because that's how you end up rushing, pushing too hard, and burning out. Pacing yourself also means building habits you can stick with for years, not just days. You don't have to overhaul your entire life in 1 week. Make small, consistent changes that stack up over time. That's how you build momentum that lasts. Think of it like a snowball rolling downhill. It starts small, but it grows with every turn. And once it gets going, it's hard to stop. Another thing about pacing, you have to trust the process. Some days you'll feel like you're making massive progress. Other days, it will feel like nothing is happening. But that doesn't mean you're failing. Growth isn't always visible. Seeds take time to break through the soil. Just because you don't see results yet doesn't mean the work isn't working. I know the temptation to go faster, to try to force it. But you've got to remember, fast is fragile. Strong is steady. And when you move with strength, you're building something that can withstand the storms that are guaranteed to come. Anybody can sprint when the weather is good. It's the ones who can keep moving in the rain, in the wind, in the dark. Those are the ones who finish. So don't be afraid to slow down enough to make sure you can keep going. Don't mistake constant motion for real progress. And don't let the pressure of other people's pace pull you out of your own lane. This is your race. And you win it by having the strength, the focus, and the discipline to last until the very end. Let me tell you something. Grit isn't about what you do when everything is going right. It's about what you do when nothing is going right. Anybody can keep moving forward when the path is smooth, when the applause is loud, when the doors are opening. But the real test of who you are comes when the lights are off, the road is rough, and it feels like you're walking uphill in the dark with no guarantee you'll make it. That's when grit shows up. There will be times in your grind when you will feel overlooked. You'll put in the work. You'll show up every day. And still, it will feel like nobody notices. That's when most people quit, not because they couldn't do it, but because they couldn't keep going without recognition. But if you want to win, You've got to learn how to keep going even when the only one cheering for you is you. See, grit is the ability to outlast the temporary. It's knowing that the pain you're feeling, the obstacles you're facing, the delay you're experiencing, they're all temporary. They're part of the process. But the person you're becoming through that process, that's permanent. And that's what's going to carry you to the finish line. You've got to be willing to endure the discomfort of discipline. It's not glamorous. It's not fun, but it's necessary. The grind will break the ones who only show up for the highlight reel, but it will build the ones who can show up for the hard, ordinary, uncelebrated work. That's what separates dreamers from doers. Now, here's the truth. You will want to stop. There will be moments when your mind will tell you it's not worth it. Your body will tell you it's too hard, and your heart will wonder if it will ever happen. That's when you have to dig deeper than the doubt, deeper than the fear, deeper than the fatigue. You have to find that voice inside of you that says, I'm not done yet. Grit means you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop giving yourself an out every time it gets uncomfortable. You decide once, and you keep that decision no matter how you feel in the moment. Feelings are temporary, but your commitment has to be permanent. I've seen people with less talent, less education, fewer resources rise to incredible heights, not because they had everything handed to them, but because they refused to quit. They refused to let failure be the last word. They refused to stop just because the path got steep. And here's the part a lot of people don't understand. Grit isn't built in comfort. It's built in resistance. The challenges you face are not there to stop you. They're there to strengthen you. Every time you push through, every time you take another step when you could have sat down, every time you choose to keep fighting, you're training yourself to be unstoppable. But you have to decide right here, right now, that quitting is not an option. You have to burn the exit doors. You have to take maybe later off the table, because the moment you give yourself a way out, you will take it. And you can't climb to the top with one foot out the door. This is your season to stand firm, to hold the line when it gets hard, to keep showing up, not because it's easy, but because you said you would. You don't need perfect conditions. You don't need the crowd. All you need is the courage to keep going until what you've been grinding for becomes your reality. Because grit will get you where talent alone never could.